What's up, guys? It's Mr. Schaefer back at it again. We are here with the one and only Bob. Today, we're going to start with Ivan's Art, is the chapter we're on. But first, you know what we got to do? We got to set our mental bookmark here. So let's skim through here to the back. The last thing I see is about Ruby and about Bob, and about Ivan. So we finally got to see those again. We haven't talked to them in a while. So Ivan and Bob had a nice little convo about being brave. And then Ruby, we literally only saw her was saying hi. And then she was running, trying not to trip over her trunk. So that's all we got. Before that, we were talking about Ivan and his girlfriend, or his gorilla friend, as we called it, Kenyani. And Bob is terrified of her, just like a lot of us. More terrified of the wives and the women than we are of Ivan and the men in the group, right? So Kenyani is a beast, right? Those teeth that we talked about. And that was really it, guys. So a little bit, we're kind of setting the scene here. We know what's going on in the background, the weather warnings that's going down, this hurricane that's rolling up. So we're basically here at the park, at the zoo, chilling, and that's where we stopped, all right? So the last thing we read was about Ruby having her own little animal family, and yeah. All right, so here we go. Ivan's Art. How's it going, girl? I called her Ruby as she stops near the moat edging the wall. I had cantaloupe for breakfast, Uncle Bob, and it was yummy, and then I took a mud bath. She pauses to take a breath. Do you want to hear a new doggy riddle, Uncle Bob? Of course I do, I say, and I catch Ivan's amused glance. What kind of dog is always on time? Asked Ruby. You got me, Ruby. I'm totally baffled, befuddled, bewildered. What kind of dog you talking about? A watchdog, Ruby exclaims. Watchdog, get it, Uncle Bob? Not bad, Ruby. Not bad at all, I say. Ivan says it's going to rain buckets, says Ruby. She dips her trunk in the moat and blows bubbles. I think Ivan's onto something there. Do you show his new picture to you? Ruby asked. She grabs a tuft of grass and tosses it in the air. I wish I could see it, but I can't because that silly wall. But he told me all about it. My pal Ivan is quite the artist, just like Julia. Ivan sits up and nods towards a spot on the wall. Another mud mural, I ask. As any good dog knows, dirt plus water equals mud. And mud means mess, and mess means let's roll in this stuff and maybe dig a hole or 2, or 10. But for Ivan, mud plus a flat surface equals a waiting canvas. I crane my neck, edging a bit farther down to the top of the wall. Don't want to draw attention to myself. Hey, nice, I say. I mean, I'm not an art guy. To me, art is a glop of spray of cheese on a cheese dog with an extra grated cheese on top. Still, I've always admired Ivan's work. It's... Ivan begins. No, I say, don't tell me, let me guess. You always guess wrong, Ivan says. Not always. You thought my palm tree was a dandelion. Art is in the eye of the beholder, I say. You thought my blackberries were giant ants. Kenyani ambles up to join the conversation. And need I remind you that you thought his portrait of me was a chimpanzee with gas? The resemblance is striking, I say. Kenyani glares at me. She glares at me a lot. On the subject of chimps. Probably I shouldn't have mentioned the chimp angle. Gorillas aren't as open-minded as dogs. A lot of them have a thing about chimps. They're all clowns. But when I look at the apes and gorillas, seems to me they have a lot more in common than they admit to. Dogs ain't perfect. But I'll tell you one thing. Where we rule, tolerance. Oh, that's a good word there. Tolerance. We have to think about what that means here. So watch these next clues, and that's going to be one of the words we're going to try to figure out. For us, a dog is a dog is a dog. I see a Great Dane, I say howdy. I run into a puggle. It's glad to meet you. How's it going? Smelled any good pee lately? Go to the dog park and you'll see. We're equal opportunity playful. You sniff my rear, I'll sniff yours. You don't see that in humans, obviously. Constantly seeing differences where none exist. All those things like skin color, dogs could care less. You think I won't hang out with a Dalmatian because he's spotted? Or a Shar Pei because she's wrinkled? I'm not saying I love every dog I meet. Snickers comes to mind. But I'll always give a dog the benefit of the doubt. Life is short, play is good, and there are plenty of tennis balls to go around. I like that about Bob, right? He doesn't judge, man. He's just, a dog's a dog. But when you talk about Ivan and chimps, you know how he feels about them, right? Slimy chimps. Can't stand them, right? Bunch of clowns. Oh, a very handsome dog. Hi, Aunt Kenyani, Ruby calls. Once again, Ruby, says Kenyani, I am not your aunt. I am a primate, and you, my dear, are not. More, there's pity. But if Ivan is my uncle, then you have to be my aunt, Ruby declares. Says Ivan, pointing to the wall. My painting, Bob. I consider. Looks like a dog. Ruby flaps her ears. I can tell she's trying very hard to stay quiet. A very handsome dog, I add. Is it? It is, Ruby exclaims. It's you, Uncle Bob. Uncle Ivan told me. Well, who's that? I ask, pointing to another set of mud strokes. I thought you needed a companion, says Ivan. I know you must get lonely at home, by yourself all day. It's true, but I've never mentioned that to Ivan. Guy's like a mind reader. I think Snickers and Bob would make a cute couple, says Ruby. I blink in disbelief. Bite your trunk. Ruby starts to reply, but her voice is drowned out by a sharp clap of thunder. Storm's getting close, says Kenyani. Ivan, dear, come on. You know how we hate the damp. It's true. He carries around an old burlap bag so he won't have to sit on wet grass. Ivan looks at me sheepishly. She knows me so well. Kudzu, one of the baby gorillas, bounds over and leaps onto Ivan's back. Ivan loves all the youngsters, but Kudzu is his favorite. I think she reminds him a little bit of his twin sister, Tag, who died when she was still a baby. Look at that picture. Look at him. Little Kudzu. Oh, wait. Look at her. Sorry. That's a girl. Cutie. And that makes sense, too, right? Reminds him of his sister. Ride! Kudzu commands. Julia appears. Her backpack is at the ready. Bob, she calls. We need to get going. Ride now! Kudzu repeats, yanking on one of Ivan's ears. Looks like it's time to go, says Ivan. Good to see you, buddy. Stay dry, okay? Will do, big guy. I turn to Kenyani. Enchanted as always, my dear. A trumpeting noise cuts through the air. Uh-oh, says Ruby. That's Aunt Akello. Akello, the oldest elephant ants, lumbers over. Come on, Ruby. Weather's getting bad. Just one more minute, Ruby pleads. Now. But I need to tell Uncle Bob one more riddle. Now, Akello repeats. Nobody ever listens to the littlest elephant, Ruby complains. You can tell me the riddle next time, kiddo, I say, winking at Akello. Ruby brightens. Okay, gotta go or I'll be in big trouble. Love you, Uncle Bob. See you later. Uncle Ivan and Aunt Kenyani. I am not your... Kenyani begins, but Ruby is already galloping back to her herd. Ooh, the beginning. I like that last chapter there. I think that's hilarious, right? We knew that Snickers, we knew that Bob had a little crush on Snickers, so I think that's hilarious that Ivan painted a picture of them together like that. And I would agree, Kenyani is a little scary, right? She seems a little fierce. All right, this is the last little part we're going to read. But hey, that storm, right? That thunder is in the back of my brain here, so let's see what happens. The beginning. In the distance, thunder growls, long and low and not giving up. It reminds me of my stomach pre-breakfast. I test the air. Weird. Something isn't right. Bro, we know that Bob can smell everything, right? Emotions, pee, we know that part, but like, he knows something's going on, right? We talked about animals having that sense, so it's going down. Let's see. Julia, it's George rushing over. Hurry up, you need to get inside. George has an odd scent, like he's on guard. I've only smelled it a few times on him. I look up. The clouds have turned strange shades of green and yellow and gray, clustered together like rows of fat marshmallows. So ugly, it's beautiful. I can't stop looking. The air goes still, like a cat before it leaps on its prey. Ooh, two similes right there. Kenyani and Ivan and Kudzu are racing toward the gorilla villa. A fat raindrop hits my nose. It tastes wrong. How can rain taste dangerous? People are yelling and running, opening umbrellas, covering their heads with the maps of the park. More drops. At the far end of the field, I can just make out Okello herding Ruby along. Another drop. A dry one, like a pebble. Hail, George says. Julia, now! He grabs her hand. Rumbling, the sky boils and swirls. Bob! Julia cries. Come on! I leaped off my perch to run to Julia. I've done it 1,000 times, but this time I lose my footing. I never slip. I'm as nimble as Nutwit. But the rain, the hail. I let out a yelp as I land on Ivan's side of the wall, splat in the mud. Bob! Julia screams. I'll be okay, George says. I can smell Julia's fear and George's doubt as he drags her away. And I'm stopping right there. It's craziness. The storm is here, guys. And I hate to leave you like that, but I also love leaving you like that. So we're going to pick up next time, and I have to tell you, I want you to make a prediction about what's coming next. That's your discussion question that's on here. But I'll just give you a hint. The next chapter is called Torn Apart. I know. Killer. All right, guys, enjoy, and I'll see you next time.